lately we've had a lot of sub-regional security problem in Nigeria, Chad, Central African Republic, yeah, CAR, even South Sudan.
Yes.
In your opinion, what do you think is a tangible solution to those threats in the region?
I'm going to give you two answers. One is an immediate, because the crises are already there, right? And we have to deal with them now. So let me take the example of the threat that I know best, which is the sub-regional threat posed by Boko Haram. And this is a very big threat. We are very worried today because Nigeria, if Nigeria unravels, the entire Central and West Africa will feel the impact of that. So it is in all of our best interest for us to contain and eliminate this threat that we have currently. And for us, it's a three-pronged solution. One is that you must have an adequate military response. At this point in time, you know, these are men with guns. You need to have an adequate military response to them. That means that we need a joint strategy, including Cameroon, Nigeria, Chad, and in our opinion, from our perspective, CAR, to be able to address the two threats of Boko Haram and of the Seleka and the Anti-Balaka in CAR. Because it doesn't take much for them to connect. Yeah? So we feel that you need these four countries to come together. The heads of state need to have a summit to show leadership on this issue. They need to have a summit on our continent. It's outrageous, in my opinion, to go and have a summit in France for an African problem that concerns Africans. So that's the first thing. Then we need a joint military strategy. We need to share information. We need to share resources because none of our countries is strong enough to fight this by itself. And for that military strategy, we do need the help of the international community. We are not used to fighting terrorism. We don't have the knowledge and the skills required, and we may not even have the equipment required. So we need assistance, but it needs to be our fight, and the others need to be helping us, not the other way around. Second aspect of this is a humanitarian strategy. Right now, Cameroon has close to 165,000 refugees coming from CAR, Nigeria, and Chad, and also returning Cameroonians who are coming from those countries. We need to have an adequate response for the refugees, but we also need to have an adequate response for the villages that have been attacked. They are not getting assistance at this moment. There is huge trauma in those villages. There is huge fear in those villages. As you saw, Boko Haram attacked Chibok, and then they attacked the village right next to Chibok. So you can imagine what kind of trauma these people are feeling, what kind of fear they are under. So they need assistance for security, but they also need health services, psychological health services, mental health services, because people fall apart when they have been attacked in this kind of a way. But these are also some of the poorest parts of Cameroon. They are some of the poorest parts of Nigeria. So we need also to provide them with basic services. And that goes to the third part, is that there are some short-term development services and actions that can be carried out to enable these populations to begin to have hope. We can build their bridges. We can provide water very quickly. We can provide access to markets very quickly so that these populations begin to feel, because we have to ask ourselves, where is this terrorism coming from? It is coming from bad governance. It is coming from populations that have been left without services and therefore without hope for their future. And their backs are so far against the wall that you can recruit young men from these populations and give them a gun, and they feel that that gun is their only hope. So we must realize that, you know, terrorism is not coming from religious extremism. Religious extremism is an opportunist. So you have already created the opportunity. The opportunity is bad governance. It's people who feel they have no chance in this world. And therefore they feel, if I take a gun, maybe my son will have a chance. Maybe my daughter behind me will have a chance. So religious extremism finds the opportunity, but it's bad governance that creates the opportunity. So I think we have to fight on these 3 levels. The first 2 are short-term, but the last one is, there are some short-term things we can do there, but there are longer-term things that we can do. And we need to do these things to stop this in our, on our continent, and to stop it all over the world, because it's feeding on itself across national boundaries, across continents. And so as a world, we have to bring it to a stop. And that means making sure that the majority of the population who want to live in peace and who are moderates, who want to tolerate you with your opinions and me with my opinions, the most Cameroonians, most Nigerians, most Central Africans want to live like that. We must provide them with the basic services that enable them to keep extremism out.